Welcome back. Now let's implement a feature of a player holding the current score. Now here what is this hold button means we already know that when we roll a dice the current score is 2. If I want to hold this 2, so when we press this hold button here it will be stored 2 here. So this is the scenario. That's what actually we have here in this flowchart also. Here see. Here also, when user holds score, it should be current score is added to total score. And also, after holding the score, now when I hold the score here too, it should be after holding that move to the next player. Now let's implement this. Here we have this hold button hold. Let's write here button hold dot add event listener and then click now function. Now here also we have to write on comments for our understanding that first I am writing here we need to add current score to active player score. And then the next one is check if player's score is greater than equal 100. And then the third one is finish the game. And if not, switch to the next player. Right here that one also. Now we want to define the current player score. And in the last lecture, we see that to store the score, we are using this this score variable, and this variable is the array which at the same time holds the score of player 0 and player 1. And so player 0 at position 0 and player 1 at position 1. So now we can use the active player variable to get the correct score of the current player. So let's write here scores of active player that is plus equal current score. So then this will player is 0 and then we assign it again to scores at the current active player. So this is basically off. So for suppose if we are playing the player 1, so scores of player 1 equal scores of player 1 plus current score. So this is the scenario. I'm placing this in comments for our understanding. And then now let's write here document dot get element by id and then here give the template that is current and then template for active player, and then dot text equal scores of active player. Basically here this is for the current player 1 or player 2, that is the value what we have get here, we need to place that here. So now move on to this, switch to the next player. So we are having this code here, this one. Here we still need to reset the current score to 0. Now here instead of pasting all these code here, I am giving this code to function right const switch player, that should be equal to function, then give that copy again this one and then paste. Then now let's cut it here. Let's place here switch player. That's it. And then here also the switch player, switch player. And then now we check if the player has won. Before that, let's give a save and then check here. Roll dice. Then again, the score should be 4. Now let's press hold button. We have an error here. It didn't happen anything. That hold means we have to store the current value to here, the total score. But now here the score should be displaying 0. So we have an error. Let's take a look. Here we have the score 1. Then let the score 1 current, change that to score. And then now reload. Dice 2, 7, 12. And then hold. Yes. Next roll dice. Hold. Now it's working perfectly. See, hold. So the score is 68. So now it's working simply, perfectly. Current score is, after reaching 1, the current score will be 0 and then move to the player 1. So it's working perfectly. Now let's check that if the player score is greater than or equal 100. For that I'm using if scores of active player is greater than or equal 100. If the scores of active players that is greater than or equal 0, then write that in this finish game, here write document dot query selector and then using literals player dash dash write this active player. So, this from this we get the active players number and then dot class list dot add winner. This is from here this player winner. And then here we also want to remove the active player class. So that is this player active. Let's copy and then paste. Then change this to remove this winner to active. Now write here the else block. We don't want to change to the switch to the next player here once the game is finished. Now let's check the game, reload. Then here the 100 means it's too large, so giving here 20. Then now roll dice. Just reload and then roll dice. 5, 7, 12, now 24. After 1 it is 0. After reaching the 20 also it didn't display the winner. So we are having this here error. See that here just place the dot and then here also play once again 7 6 6 0 10 19 and then 21 37. Mostly rolling dice. Where is the problem? Now let's take a look here. Reload, then roll dice. Player 1 6 9 14 0 and then player 2 0. That's 2 6 11 16 hold. Then the player 2 2 hold. And now the player 1 2 0. Player 2 3 0 8. Now hold. If we press on hold means the sum should be more than 20. So player 1 is the winner. So it displayed the player one, the winner. But now we have all these buttons also. It means that we are still continuing the game. Let's press hold. So we don't need like this. So let's change. And so here we have an option that after declaring the winner, the user want to continue the game or not. If the user want to continue, then we click these buttons and then everything will work as normally, or else we will say that the game is no longer playing. Further, now I am using here the boolean values right here that playing equal true, and then now right here write playing false. This is here will not do anything. So we only defined whether the game is playing or not. That's it. So let's write here this button roll function. Here, if playing, then continue with this. And then now write here in this button hole, if playing, then continue this process. And finally, let's set here. Let's take a look here. Roll dice. 6, 3. And then now hold 6. Hold. Now the player 1 is the winner. After finishing the game, when I pressing this, nothing will happen here. So it is working perfectly. And now what we want is to get rid of this dice here. So further go here and then copy this one and replace this remove to. Now let's try this. Dice 5, 10, stain hold, then stain full 10 hold. So here player 1 is the winner and after that the dice is also not displayed. So with this we are almost done with this project. After changing all these, our game works really great. And here the last one, that is the new game button, this one. So in the next video we will see this. So this is all about the session. Thank you.